My name's Steven Sembuya. I'm actually 30 years old. Pink Foods Industries. Who is Pink Foods Industries? Well, we are pioneers in bean to bar chocolate business. And, many of you would question this, but we are the first chocolate makers making chocolate from beans to chocolate. The one that was previously in Nairobi closed shop because there used to be Cadbury there. But then the chocolate they were making, they would carry it from Switzerland to Nairobi, mold it, pack it, and distribute it within the region. So that makes us extremely unique. Well, every single day we challenge the norms or the status quo that says chocolate can only be made, or premium chocolate is only made in Europe. We don't believe that, because what basically happens, these traders, the business guys, pick our beans from Uganda, Bundi Bujo, have our farm, and then ship it to Europe and make the chocolate using the Swiss machines or Belgian machines, and then brand it Swiss chocolate. But then all the cocoa beans come from Uganda. In fact, in this $100 billion industry, all 70% of the cocoa beans actually come from Africa. So every single day, like I've said, we challenge this status quo. Well, going forward, we have a cocoa plantation in Buyukwe. It's about 45 kilometers from here. And we have and own the biggest single-owned plantation with cocoa, and employing about 63 majorly youth at our farm. In addition to that, we have so many brands that are more patriotic, like Chocolate Uganda. We have Nile chocolate. We actually have chocolate around. Anyone who is interested in trying out our chocolate, feel free. We have a stall around there. And today, actually, the chocolate that we carry is that chocolate that is for European market, one we are supplying to Germany. So feel free and go to our stall and have a taste of the chocolate. Well, long before Pink Foods actually started, I've embarked on a long journey of entrepreneurship, trying so many different things. And while still at school, I did things as fumigation, where we used to move home to home, house to house in different neighborhoods, and would go and spray cockroaches, bats, and all these other things, just as a way to raise capital for ourselves. Because together with my friend, we had a plan to start a business that will be unique in the future. But besides that, well, because of so many challenges, we moved that into book publishing. I've been so involved in book publishing as well, where I've had about 3 best-selling books here in Uganda. And one of them that I can proudly mention of is The Other Side, Amin Dada. I'm sure it really made records in the leading bookshop here, Aristoc Bookshop. It was a story about the other side of Amin Dada, besides the one we all know about, probably the good side. So besides that, we managed to raise some capital, and until I was through with school, I joined politics for about 5 years as well, where I was representing Kololo at KCCA as a councillor. A councillor is a policy maker, supposed to be a policy maker and playing oversight role. But then majorly besides that, I really wouldn't encourage, especially when you're still young, to go into politics, because it can really kill you. I can tell you this because I think the last elections I did participate in the member of parliament elections in Buyukwe. Although I was extremely popular and I think I had the biggest masses if you had to follow me on my Facebook, if you follow me on my Facebook, I had bigger crowds than the president. But then when the results came, they were extremely different. And then we spend a lot of time, you spend a lot of money, doctor, you know it. And it's better you concentrate entirely on business and never go in things like business and politics. Well, going forward, in 2011, we registered a company, Big Foods Industry, together with my friend, and also managed to get an investment license with Uganda Investment Authority. But then while starting, we faced a few challenges. We actually didn't have money, but then we had this big dream. We wanted to make chocolate. We had a farm available. We had a farm that had been abandoned because my parents had managed to expand it. Actually, my grandfather introduced cocoa growing in Uganda. But here we really had no money because machines that make chocolate are extremely expensive. We did our research, we carried out our research and development for about 3 years. We traveled back and forth in different countries trying to see how could we start probably using artisan chocolate. Guys used to see us as jokers, thinking and talking about starting chocolate processing, which nobody else had ever done before. And then the other big challenge, of course, was financing. Like I said earlier, you know, the banks here in Uganda are commercial banks. We really lack the development banks. They want to look at a background of a business that has been running probably 3 years or something, which no startup has history. So here we were struggling, but then we still persisted, doing so many odd jobs and businesses, were able to raise finances and eventually have our first product coming out in 2014. I can tell it's been a big hit because we've been, even way before people here in Uganda believed in us, the entire world had already believed in us. We had CNN coming down, we had AFP, we had BBC, we had the entire world media coming to our farm and coming to our lab to see what we're doing, which was really amazing. Then before we know it, we were sending signal to government, NADS was inquiring, Investment Authority actually, I think every single month they send some guys to our offices, to our farms, because we've become an authority in cocoa growing and chocolate processing. So I mean, that has been our journey from fumigation straight to what we're doing right now. And we have really big plans. I think before the end of the year, we intend and plan to expand further because right now we make over 10,000 chocolate bars per month. That's about half a ton per month. But then before the end of the year, we have a target. We want to set up a bigger facility close to our farm where we'll be able to process 1 ton per day. We've started something as well in a way to encourage the youth especially to come into farming. What we have codenamed Become a Farmer for a Day, or chocolate tourism. Here we are, we take you through and you get to know where chocolate actually comes from. Because many of us really have never found out that actually chocolate comes from a garden, from a cocoa pod. So we take you through the entire process at our farm, and then at the end of the day, we also take you to our chocolate club. We don't take you into our factory, but to the lab, and then offer chocolate classes. And for those that are probably interested in having a chocolate tourism, we launched it recently with Amos Wekesa of Great Lakes. I'm sure I will be one of the panels later on today. We could take you through this great experience. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Because of time, that's our journey, that's our story. Thank you very much.